This video will explain how to install MELSOFT Gemini and will give an explanation of its basic operations. First, we will explain how to install Gemini. Unzip the file and double-click the Gemini Setup.exe installer. This will start the installer. When the installer has started, confirm the displayed details and click Next. This will display the license agreement. Confirm the details in the license agreement, select I agree and click Next. Confirm the details of the notice regarding the handling of personal data, select I agree and click Next. After that, confirm the details of the notice regarding maintenance service, select I agree and click Next. Specify an installation folder to install the software and click Install. Confirm the file extension association and shortcut creation details, select the checkboxes and click Next. When the installation has installed successfully, click Finish to close the installer. This concludes the explanation on how to install Gemini. This section will explain how to authorize the Gemini license. Double-click the Gemini icon to launch the software. This will display the Gemini activation guide. Click Next. There are two types of licenses, a standalone license and a network license. A standalone license is managed locally on the personal computer Gemini will be used on. To use a standalone license, a product key is required. A network license is managed not locally on a personal computer but on a server. To use a network license, a server host name or IP address is required in addition to a port number. In this explanation, we will use a standalone license. Enter the product key and click Next. After setting the license, click Finish. Gemini will start automatically. This concludes the explanation on how to authorize the Gemini license. This section will explain about the Gemini screen interface. Tools and commands are available by selecting from the menu on the top of the screen. The left side of the screen is the eCatalog window. This window manages the components that can be placed on the Gemini 3D world. The cell graph window displays a list of any components that are currently placed. The Properties window allows for the properties of any selected components to be changed. The window at the center of the screen is the 3D World window. Here, you can place components and build a layout. On the top of the 3D World window is the Simulation control bar. You can start, stop, and reset the simulation, as well as change the playback speed. The object displayed on the top left of the 3D World window is the floating origin. The floating origin displays the direction of view the 3D world is being viewed from. The toolbar displayed on the left side of the 3D World window is the 3D World toolbar. This toolbar allows the user to change how components are displayed. The object displayed on the bottom left of the 3D World window is the View selector. This allows the user to switch the viewpoint. The Output window at the bottom of the 3D World window displays messages such as the results of executed commands. If any windows introduced here are not displayed on your screen, click the Show icon on the top right of the screen to confirm that these windows have been selected. To clear the 3D World window, click the File tab and select Clear All to clear all components on the 3D World window. All components can also be cleared by pressing the Ctrl and N keys. Next, this section will explain about the eCatalog. The eCatalog contains files of components that can be placed in the 3D world. Components files are classified into two classification methods, models by type and models by manufacturer. Models by type classifies components firstly by type, and within that classifies the components by manufacturer. Models by manufacturer classifies components firstly by manufacturer, and within that classifies the components by type. Next, this section will explain how to place components from the e-catalog to the 3D world. All components registered to the e-catalog can be placed on the 3D world by either double-clicking or by drag and drop. When a component is placed by double-clicking, the component will be placed at the 3D world origin. When a component is dragged, it will be placed at the position where it was dropped. Also, for all components registered to e-catalog, public models, layouts, both of the methods place these components at the 3D world origin. The 3D world origin will be displayed with a frame. If the frame is not displayed, go to File, Options, Display and select the World Origin Frame checkbox to display it. Next, this section will explain the basic operations using the layout. Go to the e-catalog window, Public Models, then Layouts and double-click Machine Tending. This will place it on the 3D world. Next, this section will explain the 3D world mouse operations. Using the mouse scroll wheel moves the viewpoint closer to or further away from the displayed components. Dragging the mouse while right-clicking allows you to switch between viewpoints. Clicking a component on the 3D world selects that component. Dragging a selected component with PNP selected under Manipulation on the Home tab allows the position of the selected component to be moved. Also, right-clicking with the same conditions allows the user to perform various operations on that component. This concludes the explanation of the mouse operations. This section will explain the Component Properties window. Selecting a component on the 3D world displays the Component Properties window in the window on the right. In this window, the settings of selected components can be changed. To select multiple components, hold the Control key and click Other Components. When multiple components are selected, only common properties between the components will be displayed in the Component Properties window. This concludes the explanation of the Component Properties window. This section will explain each function of the 3D World toolbar. The All function switches the viewpoint so that all components placed on the 3D world are displayed on the 3D world window. The Fill Selected function switches the viewpoint to a position so that all selected components are visible. The Headlight function switches how the lighting affects the displayed components to emphasize their surfaces, edges, and geometry. The Orthographic function switches the project's display of the 3D world camera to an orthographic display. The Render Mode function switches the display of components on the 3D world. The Frame Types function switches the display of frames on the 3D world. The Position Frame Display Options function switches the display of position frames set by a program such as a robot program. The View Editor function saves and switches the viewpoint. The current viewpoint can be added to the View Editor by pressing the plus icon. Clicking the view added to the View Editor will move the viewpoint. Clicking the View Update icon will save the current viewpoint to view. Clicking the Delete icon will delete the view. This concludes the explanation of the 3D World toolbar. This section will explain about the View Selector. Clicking the View Selector will change the current viewpoint to a viewpoint from a specified direction or angle. The current view is highlighted. To change the viewpoint from the down view, double-click any view. The camera will rotate by 90 degrees every time the top view button is clicked. Clicking an edge allows the user to change to a two-side viewpoint. Clicking a corner allows the user to change to a three-side viewpoint. This concludes the explanation of the view selector. Next, this section will explain about manipulation. The manipulation group operates components on the 3D world. This can be found on the Home tab as well as the Process tab, the Modeling tab, and the Program tab. Here, this section will explain about the 4 commands found under Manipulation on the Home tab. The Select command is used for selecting multiple components with range selection on the 3D world. Drag the mouse to display a square. Any components that touch the square will become selected. You can also change the selection method by clicking the white triangle mark. The Move command moves a selected component. Selecting a component will display some shapes such as arrows and squares. Dragging an arrow or square allows the selected component to be moved. Also, dragging the curved line allows the angle of a selected component to be changed. The pink circle displays the origin of the component. This can also be dragged like the arrows and squares to move the component. In addition, when the origin of the component is dragged close to another component, the position of the dragged component will adjust automatically. The PNP command moves a selected component and connects it to another component close to the move destination. The direction and position of the components where a connection can be made can be determined by whether there is a yellow triangle mark on the component. A green arrow will be displayed when 2 connectable components are close to each other. When these components are connected, a green triangle mark is displayed. The Interact command moves any movable parts of a component within a movable range. Click Process Machine Pro Lathe on the 3D world. You can change the position or angle by dragging parts such as the door or arm. This concludes the explanation of manipulation. Next, this section will explain about the simulation control bar. The simulation control bar is used for operating a simulation. Clicking play will start the simulation. The play button will change to pause when the simulation is running, and the simulation will stop when this button is clicked. To reset the simulation, click Reset. The simulation playback speed can be changed by either changing the values by clicking the numerical values, or by adjusting the horizontal seek bar by dragging. This concludes the explanation of the simulation control bar. Next, this section will explain about export. The export group exports the current layout and simulation state to a file. There are 4 commands within export: geometry, image, video, and PDF. The Premium Edition has a total of 5 commands with an extra FBX command. Also, the simulation control bar has 3 commands: PDF, video, and animation, bringing the total number of commands to 6. To record the simulation while it is playing or to save it as image data, click an export command. For this explanation, we will output image data. Set each item in the Export Image window, click Export, specify the file name and save destination, and click Save. This will output an image file. This concludes the explanation about export. This section will now explain about the Drawing tab. The Drawing tab expresses the 3D world layout with 2D drawings such as lines and points. Click the Drawing tab. This will display the current 3D world layout with 2D drawings. Clear the current screen. Go to the Drawing group and click Clear to delete any displayed drawings. Create a drawing. Click Load Template under the Drawing group. The Load Template command loads a template file to use. Select any file from the Template Import window to use as a template and click Import. This will load the template. The Create View group creates a drawing from the 3D world layout. Decide a viewpoint for the drawing and then create the drawing. For this explanation, we will create a drawing using a viewpoint from above. Go to Create View and click Top. This will create a diagram as though the 3D world is being viewed from above. The title of the drawing and its scale will be described in the lower right corner of the drawing. This description can be changed by clicking a drawing and editing the description from the Component Properties window. The BOM group sets a bill of materials. By going to BOM and clicking Create, a bill of materials can be added to a drawing. Clicking Delete under BOM deletes the bill of materials. To export the drawing, go to Export and click Drawing. This concludes the explanation of the Drawing tab. Next, this video will explain about statistics. The Statistics group retrieves statistics when the simulation is playing and displays them on the dashboard. Go to the Home tab and click Statistics. Any layouts registered to eCatalog are already set with dashboards. To add a dashboard, click Add New tab indicated by the plus sign on the top right. Select one column, one row regular dashboard, and then clicking Create will create a dashboard. In this example, we will display the number of generated products on the added dashboard using a line graph. Click Line Chart. This will display the Properties window on the right side of the screen, allowing you to set the graph. Click Component and select Conveyor Number 3. Click Properties and select Statistics.Parts Entered. Statistics of the simulation will be displayed on the dashboard when the simulation is played. The interval at which statistics are retrieved can be changed by going to Statistics and changing the value next to interval. Any retrieved statistics can be exported. Go to Statistics, Export Graph and click Export to Excel. Set the file name and file save location and click Save to output the statistics as an Excel file. This concludes the explanation on how to install and use Gemini. Thank you for watching.